Think about the last time someone shut you down. Not with words, with silence. They just looked at you, said nothing, and somehow you felt small. That wasn't an accident. That was a weapon. And today I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the power. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. And the men who've read him closely, kings, generals, CEOs, manipulators, they've used it ever since. In this video, I'm going to give you Machiavelli's 5 rules of strategic silence. Learn them, because someone around you already has. Rule 1. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's what most people miss. Before fear comes uncertainty, and nothing creates uncertainty like silence. Think about the most commanding person you've ever met. Not the loudest one in the room, the one who said very little, but when they did speak, everyone leaned in. That's not an accident. That's a strategy. When you speak too much, you reveal yourself, your fears, your logic, your weaknesses. Every word is a window someone else can climb through. But silence? Silence gives them nothing. And the human mind cannot handle nothing. It fills the gap with projection. It imagines you to be more than you are. More calculated, more dangerous, more in control. Here's how you use this today. Next time someone asks your opinion on something, don't rush to answer. Let 2 seconds pass. Watch what happens to the room. People start second-guessing themselves. They wonder if you know something they don't. You haven't said a word. You're already winning. Rule 1 is simple. Say less than necessary. Let the mystery work for you. Rule 2. Never explain, never justify. This one is hard, because we're trained from childhood to explain ourselves, to justify, to defend, to clarify. Someone accuses you of something. Your instinct is to talk, to correct the record, to lay out your reasoning, to make them understand. Machiavelli would tell you, stop. The moment you explain yourself to someone who doesn't deserve the explanation, you've handed them leverage. Here's why. When you defend yourself, you confirm that their opinion matters to you, that they have power over your emotional state, that you need their approval to feel settled. And in that moment, they own you. The most powerful response to an accusation or an attack is often no response at all. A long pause, a steady gaze, and then nothing. You move on, as if the accusation didn't even reach you. If you must say something, and sometimes you will, learn one sentence. I hear you. Then stop. Don't add to it. Don't soften it. Don't explain. Those 3 words acknowledge without surrendering. Most people don't even need that. They just need permission to stay quiet. Because the person who doesn't flinch cannot be shaken. And the person who cannot be shaken cannot be controlled. Rule 2. Never explain, never justify. Let your silence be your answer. Rule 3. Silence as a trap. Now we get into the darker territory. Because Machiavelli wasn't just writing about personal power. He was writing about strategy, about war without weapons. And one of the oldest weapons in that war is silence used as a trap. Here's how it works. You're in a negotiation, a confrontation, a difficult conversation. The other person says something, and instead of responding immediately, you say nothing. You just wait. Most people cannot survive silence. It makes them deeply uncomfortable. So they do the only thing they know how to do. They fill it. And in filling it, they reveal everything. They start explaining things you never asked them to explain. They offer concessions you never requested. They expose the insecurity behind the confident mask. They tell you exactly what they're afraid of. Here's what you do when the silence gets uncomfortable and every part of you wants to talk. Remind yourself that their discomfort is information. The more uncomfortable they get, the more they need to fill it. Your job is to let them. Count to 10 in your head if you have to. Don't smile, don't nod, don't rescue them. Just wait. The next thing out of their mouth will tell you everything. Machiavelli knew this. In negotiation, in politics, in war, the one who controls the silence controls the room. You are not absent when you're silent. You are watching, gathering, reading, waiting. Rule 3. Use silence as a trap. Let the other person destroy themselves with their own words. Before we go further, drop a comment. Tell me the last time someone's silence made you feel like you were losing. I want to read it. Now, Rule 4. This one is something you do in every single conversation, and most people do it completely wrong. Rule 4. The pause before you speak. You've seen this in people who command rooms. Someone asks them a question, and before they answer, there is a pause. Not because they're slow, not because they don't know, because they've learned something critical. How you enter your words matters as much as the words themselves. When you answer the moment someone stops talking, you look reactive. You look like you were waiting to talk, not listening. That's how you signal you're nervous. Now, you're probably thinking, won't the pause make me look slow? No. Here's what it actually does. It makes the other person wonder if they said something wrong. It puts the pressure back on them. The pause isn't hesitation. It's dominance with no words attached. Try it in your next meeting. Someone asks you a question. Wait 5 full seconds before answering. Watch how fast everyone else gets uncomfortable. You'll never go back to rushing. The person who pauses communicates control. They exist in a different speed than you do. And that difference in speed is felt as authority. Rule 4. Take the pause before you speak. It is not a weakness, it is a declaration. Rule 5. Silence after victory. And now the rule that most people get completely wrong. You win an argument. You come out on top. You've outmaneuvered someone, proved your point, got what you wanted. And then, most people talk. They celebrate. They explain how they did it. They want credit. They want the other person to admit it. Machiavelli would call this a fatal mistake. Because when you gloat, you do 2 things. You show the person exactly how you beat them, which means next time they'll be ready. And you create an enemy who has no choice but to come back. Humiliated people don't forget. They wait. Here's what this looks like in real life. You win the argument with your boss. You were right. Everyone in the room knows it. Your instinct is to let them feel it. A long exhale, a slight smile, maybe one final point to seal it. Don't. Just nod once. Close your folder. Move on to the next item. Let them sit with what just happened. You don't need the room to acknowledge it. The room already knows. And the person who lost but can't figure out how badly, that person won't challenge you the same way again. But the person who wins and then goes silent, they create confusion. The enemy doesn't know how outmatched they are, doesn't know where the edges of your power begin and end, doesn't know whether you even noticed the victory. And that uncertainty keeps them cautious forever. Rule 5. After you win, go silent. Don't celebrate, don't explain, don't gloat. Let the silence after victory be louder than any words could be. Machiavelli lived in a world of deception, power struggles, and betrayal. He didn't write The Prince as a moral guide, he wrote it as a survival manual. And whether you like it or not, the principles haven't changed. The players have. The game hasn't. Most people are talking themselves out of their own power every single day. Over-explaining, over-justifying, reacting, giving away their hand before the game is even played. The 5 rules are simple. Say less than necessary. Never explain yourself to people who don't deserve it. Use silence as a trap. Pause before you speak. And stay quiet after you win. The 5 rules are simple. The execution is not. Most people will watch this, nod, and go right back to over-explaining themselves tomorrow. A few won't. If you're in that second group, this channel is where you belong. Subscribe, because what comes next goes deeper.